I'm about to share with you a crime that has been committed against South African by a Nigerian. When they sent me this story, it touched my heart, and I took permission from the owner to share it with the public. But the person wants his name to be anonymous because, we are dealing with dangerous organizations. They say, "Hi, my brother. Thank you so much for what you are doing. As South Africans, we really appreciate it. I just want to share these stories with you. A true story. In early 2000 till 2012, I was practicing as a labor consultant in Bramfiska, in Gandhi Square, Johannesburg. I met a Nigerian guy who was dismissed from work by the company called Transma. He worked as a driver, messenger. His name was Amechi Omuta Chinedu. In February 2010, he shot and killed a certain Nigerian drug lord who was having an affair with his wife. He also shot his wife same time after he found them sitting in the car in Bruma, Johannesburg. 2 days later, he killed himself in his flat in Kempton Park. He left a suicide note in which he said, "South Africa is a very beautiful country, but here is my advice. If South Africa wants to get rid of drug, it must send all Nigerians home." My point here is that this guy spent a lot of time with me in my office while I was assisting him with labor law case against Transma. But for a better 2 years period, I had known him as a pastor until he disclosed in the suicide note that him and his wife were selling drugs. Be that as it may, we are not xenophobic. My daughter was in the University of Western Cape. In her second year, she started changing her behavior and went mad. Doctor told me that she was into drug in Cape Town. I investigated until I got the information that she was lured into drug by certain Nigerian. As I am writing this, my heart is bleeding. She has never become normal ever since. We spent thousands of rands trying to get her to become normal. All the money gone, but she just talk and laugh alone. I don't know what to say about evil Nigerians feeding drugs to our South African kids. Now, you have heard the story now. This is another life that has been destroyed by one of our own. The one that shot himself, shot his wife. This guy knows him as a pastor all this while, only to find out that they were dealing in drugs. Now, do you see how Nigerians are insulting God, insulting the name of God? Do you see why people don't go to church anymore? Do you see why people don't believe in God anymore? All the evil that they are spreading now, do you see how they ended their own life? The same thing, the same way they kill other people. He shot himself, he shot the drug dealer that was sleeping with his wife, and he shot his wife. And that is what I'm talking about. Now look at the girl that a Nigerian has destroyed her life. This lady was in her second year. She had dreams, she had aspirations to become somebody in life, to contribute to the economy of South Africa. But the life of that girl has been cut short by one of our own. Now, do we now see what we have been talking about? You see, I'm going to be using my page to promote all these stories so that all these drug dealers, these criminals, at least some of them, I believe that they have conscience. I believe that they have the ability to love, because the one of the reasons why they are doing what they are doing is to get money, to protect their own loved ones, to send their own loved ones to school. You know, what pains me is that you never hear of any Nigerian kids becoming a drug addict in South Africa. They are graduating, they are going to the university, using South African facility to train their children to university level, they become graduates. They are using the proceeds of crime that they are committing against South African citizens to send their own children to school, to give their own children a good life. Why the future of tomorrow of this country, the leaders of tomorrow, why their lives are being cut short. So which means that now if government does not stand and do anything, in the next 20 to 25 years, half of parliamentarians will become drug addicts. Because the children that will become leaders of tomorrow are the ones that have been fed drugs, cocaine. Somebody that was in second year was fed cocaine, and today that child is not normal anymore. She won't be a graduate anymore. She won't be a doctor anymore. She won't be a lawyer anymore. Do you understand the pain for a parent to wake up in the morning and see your child laughing at herself, talking at herself? The child that you gave birth to, you invested in her education, or is or her education. You spent money providing for this child, sending this child to school, only for somebody to just come and cut off her life, sending all your investment down the drain. And some people will still come to my comment section and try to discredit me and talking about me, giving false claim without evidence. But these people that I'm reading their story to you, they are living with the reality of crime. They are living with the evidence of crime. You say, that guy, I don't know what your name is, but I promise you that the evidence that you are talking about, God will give it to you. Because when this thing happened to your family member, that will be your evidence that there is crime in South Africa being perpetrated by foreign nationals, especially Nigerians.
Something like this. You know what's the thing that gets to me at times? It's the arrogance that illegal immigrants have, right? Especially from Zim and Nigeria, right? Those are the two that's always the loudest and always wrong when they say something, and they're always disrespectful towards South Africans. My thinking is this: you'll have all this arrogance and disrespect towards South Africans, but you don't have this arrogance and disrespect towards the government that's oppressing you back home and oppressing the people that is your neighbors, the people that look like you, that's being oppressed by the very same government. But you want to have this arrogance in South Africa. Yeah, let's impregnate all South African women. Yeah. We have rights in this country. We pay taxes. Our children deserve to be in public schools. My thing is this, and I will say it again. If you don't have a backbone to fight Tinubu and Mnangagwa, what gives you the audacity and the backbone to want to fight South Africans who are actually demanding for their rights to be respected within their own country? You'll like to remind us, yes, South Africans are unemployed, this, that, and the other, right? You'll like to insult us to our faces and remind us that South Africans are unemployed. But a country with the highest unemployment, recorded highest unemployment, that should tell you where South Africans are. They are at home. They are in their home country. That's why they can have statistics that's telling you about the unemployment issue. Whereas the ones who always really like to bring those things up, they are not even in their own home country. They want to have the biggest mouth here on this app and on TikTok and on social media, but they don't have the biggest mouth to actually speak sense to their people to say, hey guys, we need to go home and fight. You see how it's so nice here in South Africa? What if we fight for the very same things in our own country? Won't it also be nice for us? But you see, when you have this false sense of superiority towards South Africans, that you don't realize that you can fight for the same rights to be respected in your own country. Now you want to put pressure on the South African government, the South African system. This government has never cared for the South African citizen. And the South African citizen is waking up and asking for those rights to be respected. But we have people like illegal immigrants who are also adding to our problems that our fight will never finish. We are asking them to respect our rights and respect us as a people, not abuse us. Because with every right, there's a responsibility as a citizen. Now, if our rights are being disrespected, what responsibility do we have as a citizen? That is my follow-up question. Because you'll always like to remind us, hey, this, that, and the other, always negative things to say, but you can't take that same sense that you have up there and think, how can we apply these systems to our home countries that can make it better? so that we don't put pressure on our South African brothers and sisters. Because in all honesty, you all helped us during apartheid, yes, and we appreciate it. But I think this past 30 years we've paid that debt in full. Probably paid more than what we owed. We don't owe you anything. If anything, you owe yourselves to actually fight against the oppressive governments in your country. But that's a story for another day, because you don't have the audacity to fight against the government that looks like you, that's busy oppressing you. But anyway, hamba kahle, selani kahle, and this is just my thoughts on how you like to insult us as South Africans, but you don't have the backbone to fight against the very government that looks like you, that's busy oppressing you, and that you can actually have rights in your country if you fight for it and die for it. Because that's what our grandparents and great-grandparents did. They fought and they died for our rights. And you guys are just trying to override what they did. Make it make sense. Yes, it's a country in Africa, but each country has respective laws. But you're afraid to go and fight the laws that's oppressing you in your own country. Talk about weakness and cowardice. Look yourselves in the mirror, look up and down, look at yourselves deep in the mirror and understand that you guys are weak and cowardice. And that is the reality. You don't want to accept it. You're are projecting onto South Africans. Meanwhile, we are stuck in our country, trying to make ends meet, trying to survive, and trying to fight for our rights to be respected. But anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, my people.